Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights reaction. Today we have a reaction from Patreon Anti. This one I don't even recognize in the slightest from any other request, which is kind of rare for Arknights songs. So I assume this one must just be part of like the general like background music OST. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting just from the thumbnail of this, that it's just part of a collection that went with an event. So this isn't like a character theme or anything like that. So that's going to be very unique. I also did not recognize the person that wrote this, so I don't know who May or Mai is. That's a first, so this might be completely different. I'm kind of into that. So without further ado, let's go. All right. Punch me in the gut right away, why don't you?
Yes.
Oh. Ayo. I put my hands in my pockets in this jacket. No, they're coming out to groove. Hey. Whew. Where has this producer been? Whew. This is filthy.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Perfect sample. Woo. Ooh, I didn't expect the melody to go in that direction. Okay. Of all genres, of all sounds, this was not what I expected to hear. Whew. Just... God, that synth bass. Why has nobody freestyled over this beat? Come on, it's like begging for it.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
I assume because, again, kind of figuring that it's a BGM, that this might be more of a loop than anything, but I can't remember caring. Okay, for real, somebody needs to do like a couple of bars over this. Whew. Got the alert siren.
Why not?
Ha! Okay, changed it up a little bit. I really like how they're handling the melody there. All right, things to talk about. Wow, that was one of the most sawtooth synthy songs I've heard in a hot minute. That was the majority of the sound I listened to in the latter 2010s. I was so obsessed with that sound around like maybe 2015. This really like hip hop pop inspired sound. It's kind of similar in that way to like the sound they use for KDA and League of Legends. That sort of energy, not quite as K-poppy in this context. It is unapologetically this like synth bassy sound that just makes you want to bounce. You know, you can't help yourself, but just kind of, you know. But there were some really interesting little things in there that I did enjoy a lot, like the that just bass section where it was just this really low sub bass kind of sitting there and just vibrating the entirety of your ears and or chest depending on what you're using to listen. That's such a great sound. It's not something like that has been done in a bunch of songs. It's not super original, but man, I love it. Man, I love that. It's just, it really grounds you. You're like, oh yeah, ooh, we're gonna get back into it. And the second they get back into it, you're full bore, ready to hear it. Like, that is this trap beat equivalent of a breakdown from like metal, where you just have everything go halftime. That's kind of what that equates to. But there's also stuff like I was mentioning at the very end of the reaction, that like how they were handling the melody, the notes being chosen were really nice, but also the harmony line being basically a perfect parallel every single time. I don't think that there was much that they were moving around like in context. I think they were just like, here's the note we want to use, here's like 3 steps up on the scale, just hit that and keep going and just match it. Like, don't move your fingers, just have both of them hit at the same time. I think that's more what was happening, and that sort of sound just works really well for synth like this, especially stuff that's very sawtoothy. It's got kind of that gritty back end. It allows for that sonic space to blend those 2 notes together so they kind of feel like one. But what I think is really cool about that method is that it both acts as a harmony and a melody in a way. It's kind of just assisting the melody in more than just being an extra note on the top or on the bottom. It is blending, like I said, with that first note. So it's really grounding into that root note and just acting as an extension of that note instead of being like super fancy, like here's a whole chord. You know, sometimes you just don't need that to create a basic melody. I know it's probably weird that I'm talking about all this on a song like this, one that's not even that big, and I also just have heard a bunch of songs that do that as well. But this song just does it so astronomically well. It's super clear. You don't have to really think about it too much because it's very obvious what they're doing with the notes. But I also like that simplicity. I think it's worth praising the clever use of simplicity instead of sometimes the overuse of a more traditional harmony method or melody line, even if it's a similar method to achieve it. But I think I'll digress there because I'm pretty sure that's about all I can say about this song. Overall, the beat was just really sick and it got me bouncing, so that's the praise that this song is getting. It's just in its core a bop, and you can't really delve into that too much. But I've never heard of this producer. I want to hear more of what this producer has done now. So if anybody else has anything that this person has worked on before, this group, I don't know who May/Mai is. If you have any other songs that they've worked on in Arknights, please let me know what they are, because I'm very interested to hear what else they can do. And aside from that, thank you also very much for watching. And if you want to see more videos of me talking about songs from May, Arknights, any other game, does not matter, leave them down in the comments below and I will do my best. And otherwise, if you want to follow me and support me and all that, you know how to do that, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!